Safari to make sure it wasn't giving us trouble in the background.
Did you get the cable from ISO, Dave? You can't keep blaming Twitch, someone said. I don't know where, but we're looking for...
Sure, the cable is on or it's off. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand when we pick up the computer and move it, it goes down. That's the cable. But as it's sitting there right now, I don't think it's the cable.
Oh, it says it went down again, and then it's going to...
But it's different for different people, right?
Yeah.
So
the dropped frames had been climbing, and then it immediately went back to 0. And it says we're live again. Is it? Okay, we're up again. Ken Hallett had an interesting question. It says, there's a famous block with quotes around it, block printer here in the US that I have several prints from, and recently found out that while the key block may be wood, the color blocks are often linoleum. Can you talk about why for some folks there was a move to linoleum and away from wood? Any ideas on that?
it's out of my experience. I don't know. I mean, linoleum surely doesn't absorb water, so you've got to use oil-based pigments, I guess. I don't really know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
On oil-based pigments, the real big advantage of those, of course, is you take your time. You roll it on, and you can fool around and roll another color, roll this. There's no time, the thing just sits there. With water-based pigments, it's go, 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 go.
Dries out fast.
And a very difficult part about water-based pigments is the consistency, making your prints all the same, because you've got to pace everything the same speed. You've got to put the same amount on. With oil-based type work, it's much easier to get consistency from print to print. Boy, this is what a quote woodblock printmaker, or a commercial printer who's doing printing for other artists. I'm not sure.
You just called him a block printer, a famous one that don't know names or anything, who I guess was claiming to do wood, and he does wood for the key blocks, but then the rest is the color.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds a bit backwards because here, the tradition, whatever, the 20th century work here, the Yoshida people, whatever, are using metal for the key blocks rather than carve it. They're having it made photographically and then using wood for the color blocks because you need wood to get this saturation with water-based pigments.
Huh.
So I'm sorry, I don't really know what Ken is referring to there. I don't know.
Okay.
I myself am not really too worried about it. To make an interesting image, you can use different tools and materials. We stick with the materials we're using because they get a specific graphic visual effect that we want. In these days, well, it's also the same thing back in the Meiji time in Japan, where there was an era of new technologies pouring online. The publishers and people were exploring those new technologies all the time to make interesting stuff. And we're going to see that now with 3D printing, with CNC milling and all that kind of stuff. And different people are going to use these techniques to produce some really interesting stuff.
Another question from Madman 10101.
Good morning, Aoyama-san. Hello. How are you?
He asks, can you leave water sharpening stones in water without any issues?
Yes and no. It depends what they are. In general, this is the general advice. Please be careful about this. In general, natural stones can't be left in water. You keep them near the water, you dump them in and soak them up to use them, and then leave them out. There are natural stones, especially the coarse ones, like a 400 grit. You leave it in water overnight by mistake, you come back, you've got nothing but a pile of mud in the bottom. No, really, they dissolve.
Yeah.
They dissolve. Natural stones. artificial stones are much glued together with, like epoxy compound or whatever, and they're okay. So in general, artificial stones can live in water, and natural stones can't. This is the general rule. And if you make a mistake the wrong way, you've lost what can be quite an expensive stone.
Got it.
Well, the harder ones, the stone that I had just right here, it's like a piece of marble, actually.
Yeah.
You could put that in water and it doesn't matter. The softer they are, the more likely they are to just dissolve into a pile of sand. If you're not sure, keep it out. Moisten it. The problem, of course, you've got your stone out of the water. You break your knife. A natural stone now, it's dry. You put water on, shoop, it soaks inside. You can't use it. Put water on, soup, it soaks inside. So it's 3 or 4 or 5 minutes work to get it to soak up water to the point where it will actually work to do your job. You're sitting there soaking it. So you want to leave it in water. So the ideal way is it's sitting out of the water. It's on top of the sharpening bench. And a few minutes before you're ready to use it, you know what's going on. Dunk it in the water, let it drink its fill, pull it out, sharpen your stuff, and leave it outside to dry out again. You have to play with the situation as it goes. But an artificial one, you could just let it sit in there.
Yeah.
Again, usually.
Yeah. Apparently the stream went out again, I think, when Aoyama-san walked by. I can't imagine touching the middle of the cable without it touching either end of it. Why would that be causing that? It's so strange, but I'm sorry, guys.
Are we showing drop frames?
Yep. Yeah, it says 4.9%, but I don't know how far back that goes. Does that mean 4.9% in the last hour, or does it mean
from the
the last
beginning
minute? Or... But then occasionally it goes back to 0. So that's bizarre. Madman 101, despite the stream issues, did you get your answer? Did you get to hear it? Hope so. Do you know what kind of delay we have between the